Well, welcome everyone. If you are joining for the very first time, let us know or let me know. My name is Carol Mendoza, and I am a Christian leadership performance coach. I coach leaders on how to live a life by God's design and how to make a faith-based paradigm shift that leads to quantum leap success and unstoppable flow. And I'm so excited to have you here this evening to talk about why we hold on to things even when the things that we're holding on to aren't really what we want. So are you ready? Great. So if you are live, act like it, comment, share your thoughts, and share this message if it's meaningful to you and you find some value in it. If you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay and comment and share your thoughts. We learn from each other. And somehow, I think it helps to know that we are not alone in this game of life, right? That we are in this together. So your comments and your thoughts could actually be helping someone. So please do that. I brought this. I have this lime green tank. It's lime green tank. It's really old. Will I wear it again? Probably not. But yet I keep it. Why? I was married in it. Yeah, I had a dress, but that's a story for another day. And then back there, I have this drawer of pens. And some of them don't even write anymore, but I keep them. Why? Honestly, I'm not quite sure why. But you never know when you might need one, right? I have shoes that are worn and shirts that are torn, but I keep them. Why? Because of habits, because of my beliefs, and because they're comfortable. Letting go of what no longer is useful or serves a purpose isn't always easy. Because what if I need it? Or what if I can't get another one, right? I think we do this with our thoughts and our feelings and our emotions too. The uncertainty of not knowing what will happen in the future makes us hold back from changing. We may not like being stressed and worried, but at least we know what to expect, right? All right. So who is ready to step up and step out of their comfort zone and step in the greatness into the vision that God has for you and activate your faith to not only experience what God can do through you, but allow the door of success to open really wide, swing wide open to let others get the same results in their lives. Every time one of my clients has one of those aha moments, I get so excited, I cheer. I mean, it is so awesome to watch God change their perspective on things. I am really sure that God is excited about it too. But I'm also sure that when we hold ourselves back and avoid taking the trust fall with him, that he's a bit disappointed. Have you ever wanted to bless someone and they won't accept your help or your gift? I mean, you ask your neighbor, could I possibly, run by the store and pick up a few things for you? And they say, no, thanks. I'm good. Or maybe you overhear someone at your job saying that they're struggling with money. So you offer to buy them lunch or give them some food or what have you, and they say, no, thanks, I'm good. Or maybe you try to help the person at the store. I don't know if you've ever been in this situation before, but you see that person with all these groceries, like they obviously didn't go get a cart. And they're standing there with all these groceries. And I say, would you like to put them in my cart and take a rest? And they're like, no, thanks. I'm good. In essence, each of these people are saying things like, I'm okay with struggling. I'm okay with what I have. I'm okay with the way things are. I'm used to it. No, thanks. I'm good. Last week, I talked about how we respond automatically to things without really giving it any thought. How we are plugged into, empowered by the world's autopilot, by the words we've learned to say and have been conditioned to use. We don't speak what we want. Typically, we speak what we see and what we feel. So we're actually just living in a reality type vision versus a God vision. And when someone asks us what our life vision is, we freeze, right? Because we really don't know. The average person only sees from a limited perspective. And I don't know about you, but my vision has changed over the years. Has yours? Does your vision change based upon the season of life that you find yourself in? For those of you that follow me in other areas, you know that I have what I call the daily thought organizer. And this is basically just a series of questions and some things. And it has 3 questions that I ask God every day. What do I need to learn? Where do I need to grow? And what needs to change? And I have found that asking God questions allows him to guide me better, because whenever you ask God for wisdom, right? Whenever you ask God for wisdom, he's going to give it to you, right? That's James 1:5. Correct? Y'all follow me on that one? So when I ask him those questions, I feel like it sort of makes it easier for him to respond to me. So tonight, I'm going to walk you through a vision process. It's something a little different than you've ever seen before. And I'm going to use my own personal experiences. So I'm going to be a little vulnerable here, a little transparent, a little authentic, but let's do this. But before we talk about a vision by God's design, I think it's important to address what we've learned, right, through the years, why it's really broken, and why it needs to be changed. Have you ever wondered to yourself, how do I know if it's God's vision or it's mine? How do I tell the difference between what God's vision is and what my vision is? So let's talk about that. The world has programmed us to focus on ourselves, right? The world uses Jesus's words of love thy neighbor as yourself to tell us that we need to love ourselves more and do more every day to make ourselves happy. And that really is not at all what Jesus meant. In fact, he knew we already loved ourselves too much. Now, you might say, wait a minute, Carol, that's not true. I struggle with loving myself. All right, let me ask you this. Remember the last time you were in a group photo? So when they showed the picture to you, who did you look for first in the picture? Whose name are you listening for when they are doing a drawing for a prize? And when you go to the stylist and they're showing you your new haircut, right? Who are you thinking about? You might not think that these are good examples, but let's just talk about this. I can promise you, in that group photo, when they show it to you, you're not thinking to yourself, oh, I'm so glad that we're all together to take this picture. You are looking for yourself. And you probably aren't hoping that they call someone else other than you for the prize. You're thinking, I hope they call my name. I hope they call my name. I hope they call my name, right? And with your stylist, you're probably not thinking about her and the hours that she spent doing your hair and how her feet might feel after standing for all that time while you were sitting. Am I right? I have created vision boards from the things that I desired and that I wanted. I've created goals and dreams based upon what I thought was the popular opinion at the time. And I've created visions of what I thought other people wanted to hear, right? Mostly because I truly didn't know how to do it. So I borrowed other people's ideas. Makes sense, right? And no matter how much I tried to stay focused on that end result, they say keep your eyes on the end result, the vision of the outcome, right? No matter how hard I tried, my inner doubts, my inner insecurities, my fears, they would hold me back. And honestly, when I wasn't able to achieve everything in the time frame that I set it in, I would step back and I would just say, I'm satisfied with where I am. I had that no thanks, I'm good attitude. Does this sound familiar? Y'all following me on this one? Can you pick up what I'm putting down? We've been taught to consider our why until it makes us cry, right? To ask ourselves over and over again why we want what we want until we're deeply and emotionally impacted by the dream or vision, right? When we want it as much as we want to breathe. God says this. He says, your why is when you're no longer a part of the conversation. Your why is when it is more about others than it is about you. You see, when you're in my vision, you're going to feel a little uncomfortable because a God vision is a decision. Why is all this important? Okay. It's important because most of us have learned to create a vision from what we see and not step into a vision that is already complete. Let me say that again. We have learned to create a vision from what we see. We have not learned to step into a vision that is already complete. The world says that you must create, you must develop your vision using your dreams, your ambitions, your aspirations to create it, right? And when you're filling out the questionnaire, so to speak, of this, they say, ask yourself these questions. What really matters to me? Ask yourself, what is important to me? How do I want to be remembered? What's the legacy I want to leave behind? And you're supposed to try and develop this internal motivation for it based upon your emotions, right? God says, when you step into my vision, you see my perspective of your life. You see the way that it plays out in my will and purpose for you. And stop asking yourself those questions. Instead, ask me what really matters. Ask me what's important, he says. Remember me in all things. Ask me what I say and ask me who I say you are. Creating a vision means you consider the intangible and tangible things that you want, the things that you see others have already, and imagine yourself with them. See yourself physically possessing them, to be emotionally attached to the outcome, right? The problem is this. The problem is that the way that others got what they have, it may not match up with your core values. There is not one person that gets to that top of the mountain of success and says, I cheated to get here. I did this without integrity. I stepped on a lot of people. That is not what you would hear, right? Nobody's going to say that. Absolutely no one. Plus, focusing on the external result, it never really addresses the things that are going on inside of you. Those doubts and fears and worries and anxieties and all that. It just doesn't do that. It's kind of like a false sense of success. Stepping into God's vision means you allow God to give you his perspective, to change you on the inside, to bring you things you could never think or imagine on your own. Ephesians 3:20 in the Message Bible says that God can do anything, far more than you could ever imagine or guess or request in your wildest dreams. And he does it not by pushing us around, but by working within us, his Spirit deeply and gently within us. What does this look like? I said I was going to walk you through this, so here we go. Bear with me. And I'm going to be very, very authentic and very transparent and tell you how this went down with me so that you can see what it looks like. So the first thing I did was to write down each area of my life. I wrote it down, in my book. My health and personal, my relationships, spiritual, financial, and of course, my business. And for each, I wrote why I feel comfortable in each area and what I might like to see change. So this is how it started out. I started out with my health, and this is what I wrote down. Honestly, I wrote down that, I'm in pretty good health. I don't really have any issues. I rarely get sick. I fit in pretty much all of my clothes. My weight fluctuates just a little bit up and down. And, my grandmother told me that everything in moderation. So I do indulge in some ice cream once or twice a week. I'm comfortable. Sure. Let's face it. I would love to, I'd love to be able to work out as much as I used to and get back to that body I had when I was 40. But for the most part, I'm good. And then I asked God, what do you say? Now, this is important because I didn't say, what is your vision for me? But rather, what do you say about what I said? And this was his response. He said, Carol, I need you healthy and strong. Yes, you are in pretty good shape. But where I'm taking you, it's going to require a lot more energy than what you have right now. He said, I need you to eat better, and I need you to work on, strengthening your heart, because you see, you're going to be speaking before thousands of people. You're going to be training and coaching more people than you've ever coached or trained before. And it's going to require you to be up early and out late. So I need you to increase your exercise. I need you to add running and weightlifting. And I need you to stop eating those foods that are not good for you. So here's the transparent part. I said, huh? But I don't run. I don't like running. And I don't like staying up late either. God, I'm really not sure I want to increase anything. I am really sure I don't want to give up ice cream. I'm really happy with where I am. So in a way I was saying, no thanks. I'm good. And then I wrote down about my finances. And I said, all my bills are paid on time. I can handle things on my own. I don't need an accountant or anything. I have enough for right now. My debt is manageable. Sure, I'm not in overflow, but I'm good. I give more than most people do. I have a really nice home and I have a really nice car. I feel really blessed. Would I like $1 million? I absolutely would. I would love it if I could wake up tomorrow morning and see that in my bank account. And then I asked, God, what do you say? And here's what he said. Carol, I gave you the ability to produce wealth. That's Deuteronomy 8:18. And you were made by me to bless others significantly and live in overflow. Yeah, there's a lot more responsibility with this because you're going to need to hire people to help you and financial advisors to help you. A lot of people to manage the multi-millions that you'll be earning and giving. But I'll show you who and how to do it. I also want to bless you, Carol, with another home on the beach where you can see the sand from your bedroom window. I want you to give shoes and schooling to the poor children in the DR who don't know me. I want you to create more programs and become globally known for your book and your message. Transparency again. I said, okay, God, let me give this a little thought. Let me think about this a little bit. So what you're saying is that I'll get more money, and that would be great, but I don't really want to change up too many things. I'm not really sure about earning so much that I have to have all this help. I'm not really sure what that looks like, and I don't know how I would organize it or how I would manage it or handle it. I'm really not sure, and it's sort of giving me a headache. I know that you say you're going to show me, but it sounds like so much work right now. And so in a way I was saying, no, thanks. I'm good. Now I could take you through every single area that I did this with, but I am praying right now that you are getting the message here. If I sat down to create a vision, I wouldn't make it look hard. Heck no. I would certainly not be giving up ice cream or thinking about hiring people or having a company like that or building a nonprofit. I would focus on the things that I want, like money and homes and time with my husband and cars and trips and all of that, right? I certainly wouldn't focus on the work involved. But God reminded me in Luke 12, verse 48, it says that great gifts mean great responsibilities. Greater gifts are greater responsibilities. Stepping into a vision that is already completed by God is more uncomfortable than it is motivating. And it requires a decision. Sometimes multiple decisions. God's vision requires us to make a decision of obedience. When you create your vision, you create the activity that's required. Okay, if I want to do this, I've got to break it down. I'm going to do this, this, and this. You create the time frame that you're going to finish it in, right? You create the ideas that are realistic to you, things that you could actually see happening. When you create a vision, a lot of times people will say to you, if it makes you sick to your stomach, you're on the right thing. When you step into God's vision, you depend on Him to bring the situations, the people, the resources, all of that to you while you remain obedient to what He's telling you to do. You rely on Him giving you everything in His time frame. And when you're in God's vision, everything seems impossible. But while you might not want to do everything that He asks of you, you're not going to have that sick stomach, because every time you think about the vision that He has shared with you, you're going to feel this tremendous peace and this stirring in you to just keep at it. Take a look at this picture right here, okay? Hopefully you can see it. Can you see this picture? All right. Right here. Are you willing to give up the comfort of your current circumstances? Are you willing to give up that little teddy bear? Are you willing to give up the continuing to create visions while you continue to deal with doubts and fears and worries? Or wouldn't it be better to step into a vision of uncertainty with a certain God? Let's stop telling God, no thanks, I'm good. Let's instead start saying, yes, Lord, I want to serve you. Open my eyes to your vision for me. Encourage me, God. Encourage me that what you have for me is way better than I could ever come up with on my own. Can you say that? Are you ready to ask God what He says and step into His vision and stop trying to create your own? I want you to know that I am here to support you. If you want a 30-minute session with me, or you want to know a little bit more about what I do, please reach out. On February 20th, I'm actually going to be starting a 6-week all-in Paragon course. It has new content. You can actually sign up and make 2 easy payments. So check that out, because I think those things could really, really help. I've got self-study courses, and I have my podcast, and I have my YouTube channel. Please, if there's something that I can do to help you to live your life by God's design, that's what I'm here for. My friends, God does the how, and you do the do. So let's do it. Good night.